Hello everyone. So today we have a question from one of our viewers. So obviously this is a question that has been there for some time on my channel. I have not been able to answer this question, but now I think is the right time to answer this particular question, which is how much time should I give for Python if I know a language like C++? Well, if you are new to, let's say, the programming domain, and obviously if you know a language like C++, you most probably know that basic syntax only changes with all the programming language. Only the basic syntax changes. Now that's not true for some of the advanced features. For example, while I was learning Go, this is some there are things like context. Okay, there are things like channels, which directly does not translate to any other programming language. It's not there in Python, at least not in the intermediate or easy intermediate level. Might be in some really advanced topics which I am not aware of, but mostly it's not there. Okay, C++ and other things, it is not there directly. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that how much time does it take? It depends on what is a proficiency with C++ or CPP, whatever. If you are an intermediate here, let's say, then I would say it will hardly take you 1 week to become an intermediate in Python. Why? Because basic syntax is only different. Rest everything, the logic building comes from your head, right? It's basically your practice and some amount of IQ. Okay, that is logic building, practice and IQ. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are someone who already know good amount of C++, you are an intermediate over there, it is not going to take you more than a week. This is something that's, even let's say, it's a ceiling. Okay, it's a ceiling. It's like asking, if you know Torch or PyTorch, how much time will it take to learn Keras? I think it will not take a lot of time. Why? Because the basics, when you are learning PyTorch, if you are, say, an intermediate in PyTorch, it means you have covered so much of deep learning. Okay, if you are able to implement all the basic architectures, if you are able to implement the basic stuff, you know how tensor operations work, and you are able to use solve basic problems like classification and all that stuff, you are already intermediate. So to learn Keras is not that big of a deal now. Why? Because you have learned the basics of deep learning in PyTorch. You just need to learn the syntax of Keras. That's it. There's nothing, there's nothing revolutionary over here. Same thing with Python and C++. If you know C++, and I'm assuming you're not a beginner, okay, because beginners, if you're a beginner, you should stick to one programming language. I generally recommend Python to all the beginners. But if Python is not your language, let's say, and you are somehow wanting to learn C++, there is no problem. I started with, if I remember correctly, it's been a very long time, but I think I started with C++ itself, right? After that I went to Java. After that I came to Python. So this has been my, and then after Python, obviously I did little bit of Rust. Okay, oh, sorry, not Rust, Ruby. I remember doing Ruby in what to say, a couple of years back, but again I forgot it because I never used it. And then right now, so sometime back I was doing Go. Okay, again C plus C comes here, only C and C plus plus. So this has been my journey. Okay, so I would say that if you are I'll tell you with experience from all these things, yes, certain things differ. Okay, but most of the time I'll say, if you know logic building, I think all of this will be covered. Okay, so what can you do? You can practice. There are many websites, I don't want to name any of them. They are very, very common websites. You can go on any of these websites and start practicing. Okay, once you are an intermediate in any of the language, okay, once you have spent like 2 or 3 months in, just at least, if you want to be good, 6 months. Okay, if you have spent this much amount of time on one programming language, okay, one programming language, then you can now switch to any programming language, any other programming language. For me, when I was learning Go, apart from all those things that I told, rest everything just took one day. I did not even practice a lot. Okay, I was able to figure out. Now if I just practice for, let's say, 1 week, it's more than enough for me to start, you become an intermediate in Go. Why? Because already I have so much of experience from so much, such a long such a long time. So I hope this answer your question. Okay, so it will not take more than 1 week if you are a intermediate. Okay, so I hope you like the video. If you like, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and bye.